Now, a few years ago when BMW did the GT version of the 5 Series, it looked a little incongruous and a little heavy at the rear. This time around, the roofline merges in very nicely with the boot, and the car looks like it was meant to be this way because yes, it was this time planned this way, and so which is why the rear, the hatch, does end up looking a lot more attractive than it did on the 5 Series GT with a similar sort of functionality, of course. Bala had the chance to drive the car. Here are all the details on the GT.
BMW does believe that there is a market in India for cars like the GT, which is bigger, wider and taller. And a couple of things that will really connect with the Indian car buyer is that it's got more space on the inside due to the increased wheelbase. Also, it's got an extremely impressive boot.
Unveiled at the 2013 Geneva Motor Show last March, the Gran Turismo was primarily designed by BMW for markets like the US and Asia, where the touring station wagon model has zero traction. Positioned between the 3 and the 5 Series, the GT has been designed to offer sedan-like superior driving dynamics and the space plus practicality of a tourer. At first glance, the 3 Series GT looks much more proportionate and attractive than the bulky 5 Series GT. Even the 3 Series sedan kind of pales in comparison. Notice the redesigned headlamps, the modified low bumpers and the trademark kidney grille. Aiding the aerodynamics of the car are the air curtains near the fog lamps and air breathers behind the front wheel. From the side, the GT looks really long and yet proportionate. The frameless doors too add a nice touch. The improved ground clearance is quite visible, and the GT will get 18-inch tyres on the models headed to India. The rear does stand out a bit, but less like a sore thumb. But what you won't mind one bit is the active rear spoiler on the GT, which activates at speeds over 110 km per hour and can also be activated with a button on the driver's door when parked or in motion. When deployed at high speeds, the spoiler increases downforce on the rear axle and improves overall stability. The L-shaped rear lights stretch far into the sides of the car, and the 2 integrated bars of LEDs look quite sharp.
One of the areas that really impresses about the GT is the amount of space that it has in the boot. The tailgate is electronically powered by the remote. Also, in some models, you have the option where you just wave your feet and the sensor picks it up and opens the tailgate. I'm using the remote so far. And as you can see, this is about 512 liters of space available. And also what's going to get really impressive is these functionality elements that BMW has planted in the boot, just to get the rear seats folded. See, with these handles, it's quite easy to get those rear seats folded. And now you have about 1,600 liters of boot space, and that's plenty of space really. And the functionality again kicks in with things like this that you wonder, where do you keep them? Do you keep them back home? So BMW has offered space under the boot, which lets you slide this in. And so now you have a big boot.
BMW has launched only the luxury trim line in India, and the interiors of the GT are very similar to the 3 Series with a driver-focused layout. The overall fit and finish is as expected from BMW. The premium-looking wood trim helps that cause. The 16.5cm information display screen allows you to access the iDrive and BMW's other connected drive features. There are also plenty of storage compartments, especially some pretty large bins on the door. It's a very roomy cabin, with the India spec model even getting the panoramic glass sunroof to add to the sense of space.
Now the rear seat of the 3 Series GT is a really nice place to be in, especially as you've got plenty of leg room, about 70 millimeters more than the regular sedan. That's largely thanks to the increased wheelbase that resulted in more leg room here, almost as much as the 5 Series. Also, what really impresses are these rear seats. They can be reclined back, they're manually adjustable. That really makes you comfortable sitting here. But what really doesn't make you too comfortable is the headroom, which has really been cut off due to the sloping roof line, and especially for people who are really tall, that will be a botheration. And you're going to have on some models the sunroof, which is really going to impact that headroom here. Also, another thing that's going to bother is the person who's going to be sitting in the middle. There is a transmission tunnel right in the middle, so it's going to feel a little more cramped.
Living up to the promise of matching the well-recognized driving dynamics of the 3 Series is a tall order, and the GT was really going to struggle given its longer body and excess weight. This car has an additional curb weight of nearly 145 kilos compared to the sedan, but the GT lacks any extra horsepower. However, the 320i petrol variant we were driving didn't disappoint too much with the lack of power, 184 bhp to be precise, on offer to reduce the strain of the extra weight. The finely balanced weight distribution ratio of 50-50 and a precise electric power steering allows for a stable drive on the GT. It may not be as nimble as the sedan, but the GT does feel most comfortable at cruising speeds of over 100 kilometers an hour with the X-Drive all-wheel drive. The car's handling has clearly been designed for long-distance comfort like the touring model, and we were impressed by how the GT handled sharp mountain bends without showing any signs of extra weight. Get on sports driving mode and the car feels more fun to drive, especially with the heavier steering, and it handles much better. The 6-speed gearbox in the GT shifts quick and smooth, but unfortunately India spec GT will only have the 8-speed transmission. The suspension feels just right without being too stiff, and with the improved ground clearance, the ride is solid and comfortable. On the highways and the smaller village roads around Madrid, we got to enjoy a solid and thud-free drive. BMW currently offers the GT in 5 engine variants in global markets, but it has launched only the popular diesel variant in India. This churns out a maximum power of 184 bhp and 380 Nm of torque is mated to an 8-speed transmission. The 3 Series GT is steep, folks. BMW has priced it at 42,75,000 rupees ex-showroom Delhi. Now, that's pretty close to the entry-level 5 Series sedan, which starts at 45,90,000 rupees. So, the GT is for those who like the extra space and comfort, but think value. And hey, the 3 Series GT certainly won't seem like a practical option now, will it?
Right, it is a tailgate that goes up to different levels, and that's something you can set using the menu. So here's one level. You can of course have it going up further and then all the way open as well. So different parts which you can actually program using the iDrive function inside, and then when you pop the tailgate open from the inside or out, it will open only to that level. So a little bit of a convenience factor perhaps for some people that might work better. It is an ample boot, of course, as you can see, and the tailgate is automated as you saw, and so to shut it all you have to do is press that button.